Drop that heat.
So honestly, I wasn't sure what they were gonna do with this episode. At first, I thought they were gonna go ahead and just, I guess, almost kind of sort of jump into going into Sainijima's palace, because that's the next palace the Phantom Thieves are gonna have to go after in this series. And I thought that's what they were gonna do in this episode, but it turns out they kind of set it up after the end credits. Like, yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing in the next episode. And I was like, oh, okay. Of course, I didn't know that until I, obviously finished the episode and watched the end credit, scene, right? But I was really curious as to what they were gonna do, right? And they actually did something that I wasn't expecting they were gonna do. And honestly, I don't remember like anything in this episode happening in the game. Maybe it did. Maybe I just don't remember. Maybe it's just me, and I just don't remember it. Like I said, but it continues in the beginning of the episode where we had initially left off last week, right? Or in the last episode, because we see Akechi like in the fucking train, and then of course he sees like a whole bunch of stuff regarding, Okumura, the CEO of Okumura Foods, which is Haru's father. He went into cardiac arrest because he had a mental shutdown, and I could have excuse me, I could have sworn in the game when that happened, he didn't go into cardiac arrest. He just died. I I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but I don't remember him just going like into cardiac arrest and then having the potential to live, right? I remember him like just having the mental shutdown in front of like the whole like apology thing about like what he was doing as the CEO and to like the employees of Akumura Foods and like Big Bang Burger and stuff, and then he like died because of the mental shutdown. But no, it didn't happen like that at all. And then like the like investigator, like the top guy that Sainijima goes to, and like any single time like where she's like in an office place talking to this fucking old ass motherfucker, right? And he's talking about like, oh yeah, he'll probably die or whatever. I forget what he says, and then he says including her, most likely probably meaning Haru. That's the only person I can assume that who he's talking about, because Haru is, the daughter of the CEO, so therefore she kind of owns the company at this point, and they actually do mention that in the episode. Later on, towards like the later half of the episode, or about like halfway through the episode, Haru and Ren, our main character, they talk to each other, and she's basically saying like, oh, she has to do this, that, and the other, and all these fucking assholes who she's around, like political, like businessmen bullshit guys. They're trying to just get stuff for political gain, and then like I said, I don't remember this happening whatsoever, but Sai just starts getting word that there was actually a calling card, like how the Phantom Thieves do calling cards, on the school principal's desk at Shujin Academy. And like I said, I don't remember this. I don't remember if this happened at all. So Haru decides to call in a fucking meeting out of nowhere. It almost seems like, and they're meeting at the Blanc, right? So they go there. She's not like talking about like her dad or whatever, but she does mention like the whole like calling card on the principal's desk. So she asked about that, and they said they never heard of this. This is the first time they've ever heard of anything. And Futaba starts questioning some stuff, so she immediately leaves and she goes, does, and whatever she's gonna do. Sai heads back, and her and Makoto talk to each other a little bit, and then obviously she's basically saying like, oh yeah, I'm working on like the Phantom Thieves like investigation, but she doesn't flat out say it. And Makoto knows because A, she's not an idiot, and B, she says it in the episode anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then the police are at Shujin Academy, and they're starting to question all of the students who are there. They show us a couple of scenes with the main character, and one of the questions that they ask is, are the Phantom Thieves associated with the school? He says maybe. And of course, because we're watching the show, and because he's the leader of the Phantom Thieves, we know that the Phantom Thieves are affiliated with the school. So Futaba ends up doing, her little like hacker like motherfucking bullshit, right? And she figures out that like the coding for Medjed was actually not the official Medjed like group. It was just it wasn't like an official member, I guess. That's what she said. I don't remember if she said that at all, honestly. But it actually led to the Phantom Aficionado website, towards the person who actually who owns and runs the website. And of course, if you've been paying attention or you just know anyways, the website is run and currently owned by Mishima, and Mishima, has a little bit more progression in this episode because it turns out he has a shadow and it's in mementos, and they're gonna have him have a change of heart, but instead of doing it rather like the way they normally do it, the way that they did it was they just went and talked to him, and then afterwards they kind of just like left and didn't do anything, kind of leaving his shadow to just kind of like wallow, and that's kind of it. So yeah, he kind of ends up having a change of heart anyways, because like this dark spirit, as Mishima calls it, kind of just like disappeared from his body. It's kind of weird. I don't really know how that exactly works, but I guess you can't. I guess you don't have to force a change of heart. Sometimes the person just has a change of heart anyways. So after like a whole bunch of all that fucking bullshit happens, all the members of the Phantom Thieves kind of lay low a little bit, because now people are starting to be like on the fucking fan aficionado website. They're saying like, oh yeah, the Phantom Thieves are responsible. They should be put on death row. Fucking kill yourself. All that stupid fucking bullshit. all all that, they're saying all that, and then eventually, like I said, it gets to the scene where Haru is talking to our main character. The episode continues on a little bit of like Mishima stuff. Like it's starting to become more obvious that he's clearly having some sort of like reaction, or he's like different in some sort of way. So of course, that ends up leading to him having a shout out mementos. But we actually meet one of the other confidants that's from the game, and I forgot the kid's name, but they call him like as a nickname King, because he's like the king of one of like the arcade games, and he's like a little fucking kid, and he's a fan of the Phantom Thieves. So I guess that's kind of all that really. Well, I guess that's the only really real thing that's important, and plus he's good at shooting, and therefore he can also, teach Ren how to be a better shot, because obviously that would transfer over to, the palace and mementos and stuff. We meet Hifumi, and we have a little bit more like confidant and like character development with her. The interaction with her and the main character is actually enjoyable, and I actually don't mind it. And then we get a little bit more character development behind An and her friend who almost killed herself at the beginning of the series, Shiho, and how she's transferring over to a new school. She, went through physical therapy, and she's becoming a much better person. She's starting to become a much better person, and then she's more confident in herself. A weak self that was inside of her that couldn't, stand all of the hurting and the pain from Kamoshida, it's starting to go away, and she's starting to become a stronger person. And it's all thanks to An being there as a friend. And then all of a sudden, this whole fucking bullshit happens on the aficionado website. Something about like, oh, purge, I'll punish anyone who attacks the Phantom Thieves. That's what it says right on the Phantom aficionado website. Clearly that's from Mishima. He's trying to put out some sort of message. Luckily Futaba gets rid of it, before anyone could see it. Anyone could see it. They do the whole scene where Mishima has a shadow. They go to the mementos, do whatever they gotta do. A couple other stuff happens in the episode. The episode kind of just ends with a couple other like confidant stuff happening, and the episode pretty much just ends there. And then, like I said, at the end of the episode, they do an end credit cut, like the cutscene, but scene, right, where Sai is basically trying to get more information, especially about the next palace that they're going to, because it's specifically targeted to her, and she has the calling card that they sent to her. So it should be interesting. And I really like the palace that she had in the game anyways. So that's the end of the video. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like. If you already, please be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.